Hi guys, welcome to the Rule of Two with the Star Wars News Saga continues. I'm Terrence, and I am back finally for the season finale of the first season of Ahsoka, the Disney Plus TV show series. Now, as you guys have been enduring with me, you know I do these right after I've actually had an opportunity to stream it on Disney Plus, so things are not always as polished, I guess I will say, with this particular show. So sometimes I do the right notes, sometimes I have to kind of just do things off the top of my head. So please bear with me. There's a lot of things going on in this particular episode. First and foremost, like I said, I'm gonna try not to go beat by beat. I'm really just gonna try to talk about the things that kind of stood out to me in the particular episode. First and foremost, Thrawn plans for everything. So much so that like there is not a particular detail that he doesn't already think about, even when it comes to his own people. We're going to talk about a little bit in those particular situations. First and foremost, though, with Morgan Elsbeth, ending with her saying, like, awarding her or kind of praising her for the hard work of coming all the way out there to get them, doing everything that was brought upon her. They decide to grant her night sisterhood, give her her dark powers, and a mythical sword, the Sword of Towson, which is another random sword that I had not heard of before. And obviously, if you're a Legends book reader, you probably have heard it before, because I didn't know about the Darksaber either until it actually showed up on The Mandalorian. But with that being said, even with giving her praise and giving her something out of it, he's still thinking in the future about how I'm going to use you now that you have this particular thing. Going forward, we do kind of get a jump back to the ship with Ezra and Sabine and Ahsoka and Hu Yang. Now, one of the biggest themes has been in this series from beginning to end has been a story of relationships. Obviously between master and apprentice, or master and Padawan. And that's been from Ahsoka to Sabine. That's been from Balin to Shen Hati. That's also been from Kanan to Ezra, and so on and so forth. It's always been like a look at their particular relationships, or even if we even think about it with Anakin and Ahsoka. And during this process, when we're talking about master and apprentice, we go through the process of actually seeing Ezra build a lightsaber. I don't remember this really being done since, I mean, at least the construction of a lightsaber. I know everybody's kind of built their own lightsaber, but the construction of it since, Jedi, more or less, when they talked about, hey, you fashioned your own lightsaber, just like your father did, and so on and so forth. So I thought this was a good look into it and how they kind of scramble and put pieces together. But it was a great way to kind of them talk about their relationships. How much he learned so much from Kanan, and where Sabine feels a little bit left out, and maybe needs to kind of rectify the situation where she's at with Ahsoka, especially after her disobeying her and coming to this particular galaxy. Now, I did think that was an interesting way, because I think that even though when we kind of get up in these action scenes, it is nice to kind of them still focus that they're regular people and these things still need to be nurtured. They almost have a when we go master and apprentice, it is definitely a family dynamic between the two. So that's one thing that I did like about that, and I hope we get to see more about that going forward in the future. Now, the once again back to Thrawn thinking everything out. Now, when they hear that, hey, the Jedi are still out there, the ship's still out there, they may know where it's at, he dispatches 2 TIE fighters. He doesn't give up all his stuff, and he decides to enchant his night troopers so that way they can't really fall in battle, which is really, really cool, because you kind of figure like maybe he should have done that from the very beginning. That like, why keep losing troopers when you could just enchant them and just make sure, hey, you get cut down, you'll get right back up and continue on. A very zombie vibe that they give to the episode with that, but it does make a good threat out of stormtroopers. Normally stormtroopers kind of get shot or cut down really easy. They're really fodder for Star Wars. This one is like, okay, cool, we're not that effective, but guess what, we can't die that easy. So it really did make them a particular threat, so much so that we got all of our action scenes based really off the night troopers themselves. We got Ezra and Sabine going ahead and fighting the night troopers, which actually does lead to Sabine actually tapping into the Force. It's always one of those things where you're definitely near death and under stress, then all of a sudden, boom, your powers kick forward. Though I will say, does not make her a better lightsaber wielder, because her fight scenes with the lightsaber always suck, and they continue on even with the power of the Force. Um, I will say one of the better scenes that I got to see when Thrawn talks Elsbeth into sacrificing her life so that way they can get away is the Elsbeth and Ahsoka fight. It was a really, really great fight. It kind of felt like a continuation of the fight that they had in The Mandalorian. Like there was built up emotions in that, and that kind of carried on to this fight. But it was a fight that was really going to determine who was going to win or lose overall in this. Is Thrawn going to get away? Am I going to help him get away? Or is Ahsoka going to take me down and then stop the Thrawn? Now, because Thrawn thinks of everything, even with Ahsoka taking out Elsbeth, he's like, shoot down the throne room, and he made it as hard as possible for her to catch up. And we ultimately do not see her stop him. We do get to see Ezra escape because there is a moment where, excuse me, there is a moment where Sabine makes a choice where she makes sure that Ezra gets over to her new Force powers, gets over to the Star Destroyer. Because it's too far out of range to jump, she helps push him over. But that's really her opportunity to kind of say like, hey, goodbye. This is all I really wanted. I didn't want to leave you stranded. I wanted to make sure that you got home. And her choice between that was to either continue to go on with Ezra like a lost puppy or go with her master. So even though that they had an opportunity, or even so when they talked earlier, she came to a conclusion that, hey, I ride with you to the end, which helps her help defeat Morgan Elsbeth. Now, that's the episode in a nutshell. Like I said, I don't want to go beat by beat by beat by beat, but those are the things that really kind of stood out to me in the episode. Where I really like in a season finale is how they end it. A lot of season finales just throw a cliffhanger out at you, and it's just kind of like, okay, well, where do we go from here? What's going to happen? I got to wait a whole year before we get back into this. But this one was a ending of a season that kind of had a minor wrap up, but still left things undone that were still kind of like, can't wait till they get back to that. One is that Shin kind of goes off and she does her own thing. She meets up with another group, I guess, that Iran left behind. And is this going to be her group? Is she going to do her own thing, or will this continue a dispute between Ahsoka, Sabine, and Shen and her new group of troopers? I guess that's what we'll call them. It's probably a name, yes, and you guys put in the comments below. I'll look it up later. All right. Also, too, we get to see, hey, we kind of forgot about Baylan. Baylan is out there looking for his power. Now, it is cool that when they're showing him when he's out in the middle of nowhere in these kind of like open lands, there is some type of religion or kingdom or obviously some type of life forms that are on this planet because there's structures and statues and things. I wonder if he knows about who these people are and what is the power that they maintain that he wants to grab. Is that power have anything to do with Thrawn and the cargo that he took back to the regular galaxy? I don't know what we call the Star Wars galaxy, but you know, he took it with him. So I kind of wonder if that's maybe the part of it, that he took that power source with him, but there was more out there that Baylan can kind of draw from. Also, too, we go back to Ahsoka and Sabine. They seem a little bit more hopeful. They could have looked defeated and said, hey, we're stranded. There's nothing that we can do now. Thrawn's going to go ahead and take over the galaxy. They seem hopeful for the future and where their part was going to, and what their part was going to play in it. Now, the best part of the episode is to see that after everything and no matter where Ahsoka's at, Anakin still has a connection. That's really, really awesome. So, kind of makes you think. If he's got a connection with Ahsoka, does he also have a connection with Luke at the same time? Is he passing messages back and forth? Because I mean, she wasn't really communing with him at that particular point in time, but he is still looking over her. So, can he talk to Luke and maybe kind of tell him where she's at? Can Luke come and save them? Maybe. I mean, maybe. Because Luke could see him at the end of Jedi, so you would think Luke is communing with him and not just Obi-Wan, right? All right, so that's all I gotta say about this particular season. I will do one more episode next week where I want to talk about where this is gonna go. I do have a lot of questions. I know there was a lot of books for Thrawn, so this is not the end. It's not going to be a one season. Obviously, with the cliffhanger, it's not going to be a one season. But they have a lot more story to tell. I know there's at least a trilogy of Thrawn books. And then as I was looking, there was an Ascendant series that looked like it had recently started as well. So they got a lot of information out there for them to pull from to kind of continue on the story of Thrawn and Ahsoka's kind of, back and forth battles. So we're going to talk about what I can find on that and my thoughts of where they can go in the future and maybe possible crossovers. So with that being said, if this is the first time you're on the channel, make sure you subscribe as well as click the notification button. That way you're aware of all the other Star Wars videos that we end up doing on the channel and the other things that we do on the channel besides. Maybe. So with that being said, you guys take care. May the Force be with you. Always.
Wait, guys, are you still here? I'm glad you're still here. All right, so if you look down, I mean, it's somewhere over here. Look down. We actually have a Patreon. So if you guys watch the show and you really like what we want to do and you want to help support the show and you want to help me get an editor so I can get to sleep at night because I'm really tired and you guys see all my mistakes in the episodes. So please go to patreon.com/thegoods. Give us a penny, give us a nickel, give us $1.
Just don't give us the finger.
Don't do that. But make sure you do donate something because we do have some giveaways. There's posters, there's t-shirts, there's...
I'll sign something for you.
Exactly. So take a look, guys, and help us out. We appreciate it.